A few decades ago, a gentleman who was involved in the movement to make it easier for us to know what's good for us to eat and what's bad for us to eat, came up with the idea that if you can't pronounce ingredients in the food that you're buying, you probably shouldn't buy that food. And nowadays, some companies still promote that idea, like Kind. On theirs, they have a statement that says, and it's their registered trademark, ingredients you can see and pronounce. There's only one problem with that. A lot of companies, if they add, like, say, vitamins to their ingredients to enhance the nutritional profile of the food that they have produced, there's often more than one form of a vitamin, and often instead of saying vitamin A, for example, or vitamin C or whatever, they'll say pantothenic acid or riboflavin or whatever the vitamin source is, they'll name it, using the scientific terminology for it. And a lot of people have trouble pronouncing those things. I mean, some people don't know that H2O, water, they don't know hydrogen, right? So it would be dihydrogen oxide, right? A lot of people wouldn't know how to say that. So there are things that are basic, necessary components in food, but when they step away from what people are used to saying, like almonds and syrup and things like that, and they go to words that are unfamiliar or scientific in nature, a lot of people suddenly become very confused about how to pronounce those words, and understandably so. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you say, don't buy it if you can't pronounce the ingredients, you're ignoring the fact that vitamins are most often listed by their scientific name rather than by their vitamin A, B, C, D, whatever name. And therefore, you're telling people to avoid products that contain vitamins that are good for them, if those are actually listed on the ingredient list. Now, granted, there are lots of foods that don't have that, but some do. And in addition, there are natural products that can be added to foods, but there's no common name for them because they're not well known, or they're only known in certain places. Or maybe the common name for them originates from a country that is not using a language that's familiar to, say, people here in America. So when you look at it, you're like, well, what the heck is that? Or in trying to pronounce Latin and Greek, if you have no background in pronouncing those, it's very confusing. So you might see something that in actuality, it looks very confusing. How do I say this? I can't even say this. I better not eat it. But in actuality, it is a healthful herb, perhaps, or maybe it's a good vitamin, or it's some other kind of a natural plant that is something they should be getting in their diet, but they don't know how to say it. So this whole idea of judging a food by the difficulty of pronouncing the ingredients does not hold water, ultimately. Especially when you have people who have very low vocabulary and very poor understanding of pronunciation. It just does not work. It's much better to look at a list and see how many ingredients are in that list. The longer the list is, the worse that product is ultimately going to be for you because it's processed. Okay? Now, if you have a product and it just naturally contains a lot of different products, ingredients, there's a possibility it's not going to be as bad for you, but why not just make it at home? Or just avoid it, because generally speaking, any processed food is going to be bad for you. And the more ingredients it has, the worse it's going to be for you, generally speaking. Now, if it's fast food or if it's junk food, it's probably 95% chance that it's going to be bad for you to consume. Probably it's got too much fat. Probably it's got too much sugar. It may even have too much protein. You just need to eat natural foods, whole foods. Stop buying the processed and semi-processed stuff. Even white rice and yellow rice, those things have had the fiber removed and therefore it's not good for you. So please don't worry about whether you can pronounce things or not. If you have trouble pronouncing things, worry about how long the list of ingredients is. If you're looking at, and look at the nutrition facts and say, well, does it have a large amount of saturated fat in it? Does it have a large amount of added sugars in it? Does it have sugar alcohols in it? Is there fiber in it? Because fiber is good. You need dietary fiber. You need soluble and insoluble fiber. The nutrition facts list, dietary fiber or fiber, it doesn't tell you it's soluble or insoluble usually unless the company decides that they want to share that information with you. I hope that this helped you. Thank you very much for watching and hope you have a great day.